All right, Kate, I got my Sisters Who's Seen It merch.
Ooh, we're matching. Cheers.
We're twinsies.
I got one of our merch in the mail.
What'd you get?
It is, well, I can't call it a koozie, so I think we had a weird name for it, like foam can something, but I got that!
Go on the site. Get the foam can koozie that we can't say because it's trademark. Get the...
Yeah.
What is it called? A can? Cooler? Can?
It's a foam can cooler is what we called it, I think.
Koozie, get over yourself.
Yeah.
Do you know our cousin David worked at Koozie for a long time?
No, that's so cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Bic, the pens, Bic Graphic, they have the Koozie licensing.
What?
I gotta tell you.
That's such a fun fact.
Absolutely.
Wow.
So, now, I had texted him. He called me back. I took 3 weeks to text back, and I haven't heard from him. So, David, if you're listening.
David.
We need to sync, sir.
Did you say, David, let's sync? What did you say?
Let's sync, yeah.
What does that mean?
Is that like corporate talk? Like, let's connect?
Oh, like sync up?
Yeah.
I thought you meant like turn the faucet on. And I was like, I don't know.
Let's bath.
Sisters who've seen it. We are the sisters who've seen it. Sisters, shooby-dooby-doo-wop, sisters, shooby-dooby-doo-wop, sisters. Sisters who've seen it.
Hello!
Hello.
Oh, this is just like how our Commando episode
Shut up, you children, you animals.
It's not a tumor. There are so many good lines from this movie.
Hey, so I don't know. This with the nostalgic lens is a little different than I remember.
Well, my nostalgic glasses were really thick, and I had a great time.
Wow,
Bridget, I'm going to introduce us. We are the Sisters Who've Seen It, the podcast where two sisters who are not movie critics look back on some of our favorites throughout the years through a psychological, ethical, and familial lens. I'm Katie.
I'm Bridget.
And there is no bathroom! That line like made me laugh so hard.
Oh my god.
There's so many. Bridge, what's the movie that you're sighing about?
The movie is the 1990 Arnold Schwarzenegger starring film Kindergarten Cop.
Duh! I'm a cop, you idiot!
I'm the potty pooper.
I'm the potty pooper. Why don't I say that more? Come on, Katie, get it together.
Literally, I am the party pooper these days. I'm like, good night, I am the party pooper. Yeah, there's, wow, great quotes. I think you're pointing at you.
I'm pointing at you. I want you to do it.
Arnold Schwarzenegger stars as a policeman who takes on the toughest assignment of his career when he loses. Or he loses as a kindergarten teacher? No.
Uh-oh.
Oh, we copied it wrong, Bridge.
Oh, Bridget, Jesus. Copy paste, Bridge. What's happening? This always happens to you.
I swear to God. Like, how do I know the English language? I'm sorry. It's like I watch it on TV, and so I copy it on my phone.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. You know what's so embarrassing? I'm so sorry, listeners. This is off topic. My thumb, this is how I know I'm old.
What?
My thumb hurts from like TikTok scrolling.
Bridget!
So I feel like all of my typing with all of our movie notes, like just the fingers can't cut it.
Your thumbs are giving out. Oh God.
Oh man.
We're in trouble.
But basically, I imagine movie execs, they literally slid into a room because it was 1990 in their big baggy pants.
Yeah.
And they said, we got it. Arnold Schwarzenegger as a kindergarten teacher. And everyone's like, what?
Like,
That's hilarious. And And they're like, wait, he's an action star. They're like, don't worry, he's an undercover cop. And they're like, what? Oh my God. Honestly, so, okay, not because of the movie, although it was long, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I might have fallen asleep for like 15, 20 minutes, but the gist of the movie is Arnold Schwarzenegger is a cop, and right away, he is trying to take down a criminal. And as part of, like, following this criminal is this villain, so to speak, has it out for his ex-wife, who he said stole a bunch of drug money. And part of, like, trying to find her will help catch him because he was in custody. They, like, got him, but then he was let out. And just kind of all these twists and turns. And so they learn that the ex-wife is in Oregon teaching. And so they're like, we set you up at the school and you gotta be the kindergarten teacher. Now, I thought this was much more believable, but he had a partner whose name was...
I don't know. I just called her Cop Lady.
Oh my God. Detective Phoebe. There you go. Phoebe O'Hara. Detective Phoebe was his partner, and she was supposed to be the actual teacher because she has had teaching experience before she became a police officer. She gets sick, so Arnold needs to step in. He hates it. It's hilarious. I imagine if Arnold Schwarzenegger walked into any kindergarten class, like, it would just be funny. Like, it's just funny.
Especially when he walks in with, like, a scary face and wide eyes. And you're like, Arnold, it's okay to smile. All right.
Oh my God. And then through the course of it is he doesn't actually know who the ex-wife is. So one of the kids in the class, their mom, essentially, is who he needs to figure out who he is. So he's also doing, like, detective, like, okay, kids, tell me about your parents.
Who is your daddy and what does he do?
And I'm like, this is so funny. And then I think, to be honest, the movie does get a little long because we're, like, following the criminal, we're following him, and then we go into all these other stories. But eventually we figure out who's the actual ex-wife. Arnold falls in love with her.
Gotta make out with someone. Except in Commando. Why didn't we follow Commando rules, guys?
I'm sorry, Commando rules are better.
Yeah.
And he catches the criminal because he's Arnold.
Yeah.
There's so much more to that.
Yeah.
And that's why we're here. So, Kate, what I missed? That's a big plot hole.
There's a ferret. That doesn't sound important, but I would argue it's important that we
keep talking. I gotta Google that.
Acknowledge the ferret. Yeah, I have questions about the ferret, but yeah, I mean, really, the movie is a lot of you're laughing really hard at Arnold trying to be a human around small children, and then you're awing at how cute the small children are, and then there are many moments where you're panicking that these children are all going to get shot in the face, and it's really terrible, and I hate that was part. I actually, like, towards the end, like, I got a little, like, pardon the pun, like, a little, like, triggered, where I was like, oh, this is, like, really scary. Even though I know how it ends, and I know everyone's okay, like,
I cried. I cried out of fear.
Yeah.
And my lens of this movie, looking back, it is a little more dark.
Yeah, definitely
than
dark.
I remember. And oh boy. So I need to reference Ivan Reitman.
Is that the ferret bridge?
No.
So you were looking up the ferret.
That was, sorry, I changed on you.
Okay.
That was the director who also did Ghostbusters.
Oh!
And he did this movie as well. And I brought this up with Mose, who is on our most recent episode.
Yeah.
Commando. And he told me, because I said that Kindergarten Cop had a lot of, like, Aki close-ups. Like, take your time, Aki close-ups. And he was like, that's the director. That was the same in Ghostbusters. I was like, wow.
That's true.
Wow. And I'm still going to look up the ferret's name. Continue.
Okay. Well, I think we should just get into it because, as Bridget pointed out, this movie is longer than it needs to be.
Yes, it is.
And I think it tries really hard to, like, be like, ooh, who could the ex-wife be? Even though everyone's like, we know. Like, okay, movie. Fine. We'll play along, pretend we don't know. Fine. But anyway, we start off Bridge in the one place that everyone was at in the 90s, the mall!
Okay, all I kept saying is like, why the frig is Arnold Schwarzenegger always in a mall?
Literally.
Always. If you were in a mall in the 80s and 90s, you just saw Arnold Schwarzenegger, okay?
And he's probably having a scuffle with the mall cops because why is this happening? But he is stalking who we quickly learn is the bad guy. The bad guy's name, correct me if I'm wrong on this, I wrote Mr. Crisp, like a Krispy Kreme, but with a C.
Cullen Crisp.
Crisp. Like
so you're right.
$dollar bill.
Yeah.
I hate that.
First of all, with that pony, I was like, is this Val Kilmer?
He fucking wishes. He wishes.
But he had some Val Kilmer vibes, and then as the camera got closer and closer, I was like, no siree. This is honestly him, like, shoving the kid and being like, I'm your daddy. I'm your daddy. I was like, I hated it. Terrible.
Stupid pony. And I feel like he was always dressed in weird outfits, and in the lineup, he's wearing, like, a weird, very low buttoned V-neck. And sir, button up, okay? This isn't a porn shoot. Thank you.
Well, I was just gonna say, if we want to talk about the outfits, Kate, I felt like the 80s shoulder pads, right?
Oh, alive
it was
and
like
well.
The 90s just ripped out the shoulder pads, kept them just as baggy, and then added crazy prints. And
yeah.
It was like, wow. And all he wore was like oversized suits with that pony. And you're thinking, is he the limousine driver? Is he a criminal? Is he one of the villains from the karate movie with the 3 ninjas?
Oh, 3 ninjas?
Wow. We've done so many movies.
We have.
Wow.
Arnold was the only one whose outfits fit completely, and the children. And I think that's just because of their sizes. We're on opposite ends of the spectrum.
But here we are. So we're in the mall, and by the way, Arnold's looking a little rough. Looks a little scruffy McScruffster, which for him, I felt like, for being all that is man, like, do you think that took him, like, a long time to grow out that beard? Because he was kind of tight, you know?
It was, like, scraggly, though.
Yeah, it was gnarly.
It was neglected. Like, shave it better. Yeah, so Mr. Crisp is the worst name ever. That's the first thing I have in my notes. Then I wrote, okay, so we meet a sketchy guy who basically is like being an informant, and he had seen the ex-wife and I guess the kid too, and so he is going to tell Mr. Crisp about that, and he's gonna try and get money, but he also has like his girlfriend, something friend, and he hides her in a box because he's like, oh, you can't have other people, whatever, we'll try to get money. And so he tells him, hey, I saw her, she's in Oregon, she's a teacher, her kid's in school, and I guess he mentioned the kid was in kindergarten, because I don't know how else he would have just picked kindergarten, but fine. And then Mr. Crisp says, oh my god, thanks. And he fucking shoots him. He's dead. Dead in the mall. Bodies in the mall?
Well,
no.
Honestly, I felt like the villain part of this guy, like, he was scary. I was afraid of him.
He was a loose cannon. And he was in the mall. I'm just trying to buy shoes. Like, please. I don't want to step over blood.
I feel like the malls always had, back then, like, go to the bathroom. And it was like, you really went down, like, a sketchy hallway like that.
The murder hallway. That's where all the bodies are.
Well, clearly. Can you imagine? Typical Arnold causing trouble, pulling out telephone.
And then Arnold handcuffs this woman to the dead body.
Yikes.
Arnold, I think you need a new plan all the time.
I mean, if anything, what Arnold does is if you're a woman nearby a scene, you're now stuck with Arnold.
You've been kidnapped and adopted into his scheme.
And then when she refuses to give any feedback or testimony or rat him out, Arnold then stalks her.
Hate that.
And basically was like, I will come every day, every night, every holiday, every week. I know this doesn't sound like him. I'm so sorry. But, like, he literally was like, I will never leave you. And she's like, fine, I'll testify. And then she ends up, like, overdosing. I'm like, Arnold, could we at least get her some help?
Arnold, don't always be the party pooper, okay? Like, it's just too much. Also, don't walk around the streets with a shotgun, sir!
Yo.
I think Arnold committed some felonies as a police in this movie, but it's America, so he can live with them.
Honestly, I just kept being like, police brutality. Like, he just beat up everybody, and this was the time, Kate, so like 1990.
Yeah.
I guarantee the show Cops, like,
oh yeah,
bad boys,
oh yeah,
what you gonna do?
Yeah.
That was just cops beating people up.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, yeah, let's watch it as a family over dinner.
Yeah.
And so that was like still during this like, horrific time, and I just feel like watching it now, it's like, Jesus, dude, you're just like, you can't just beat everybody up. Like, as a cop, when you're commando, okay,
yes,
alright?
yes.
You're like, you're gonna go to jail like the rest of us. When you're a cop, it just felt so icky, you know?
Well, and he also, like, throws a guy through a fucking table for no reason. Like, the guy was just walking by him, and he shoved him, and the guy exploded through a table. And I was like, Why that?
That drug lord basement reminded me of where the teenage kids went in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yo, the Foot Clan!
Dude, that was like Foot Clan vibes.
I fucking wish those were all teenage children and Arnold just went through beating all of them up for no reason. That would have been great, and it would have drove home our message about police brutality. Okay, yes, so Cindy's like, fine. I'll point out Mr. Crisp in this lineup. Mr. Crisp does wear an unnecessarily low-cut shirt. There were more buttons he could have buttoned, but he didn't. Here we are. Fine. So now the plan is, okay, he's in jail, but he's not gonna stay in jail for long, something. We need to get the ex-wife. And they focus a lot on this money, which I
hate it. First of all, I hated this whole storyline. I'm like,
yeah.
You literally saw a dead body.
Yes.
You saw the woman say it was this guy.
Right.
You saw the guy at the mall. You're the cop. Why isn't he in jail for a long time? I don't understand how they're like, you know what we're missing? The lady that's 18 states away. She's really gonna lock in this case. It's like, I'm so sorry, you need to work on your paperwork.
But they didn't even really care. I mean, Arnold and Phoebe cared about the lady, but like the other cops did not give a fuck about the lady. They're like, where's the money? I was like, there's a woman and a child.
Where's the money, Lebowski?
Where's the money, Lebowski? Yeah, that was a ferret in that movie too. Connection. Okay.
Wow.
So we find out that Arnold is now being paired with Phoebe the cop. He just met Phoebe. Phoebe is my spirit animal because she is nonstop eating, and I love her.
Sorry. Okay, I'm so mad though at female characters. Ivan, I have a bone to pick with you. Okay?
Ivan?
Why is her only personality trait that she's skinny but eats a lot?
Well, she's also engaged and is naked in bed? Question mark?
The most inappropriate work relationship ever.
That lady got boned on the job.
Okay, not only are they sharing a room, no thank you, okay? I'm not sharing a room with my coworker. I would rather quit, okay? But then, if I walked in and my coworker's having sex with their fiance, which they casually laugh about, and then the naked fiance tries to shake my hand, no siree, and then, Kate, at the end, when we both save each other's life, they do a kiss on the lips.
I hated it. Girl, you could have just gave it on the cheek. Why there?
What in the hell is happening? This police force is a mess.
Somehow they had sex with pasta also in the bed. And then she continued to eat it. Which again, I'm kind of like, that's cool. Yeah, this is our duo, y'all. So the story with her, and I feel like one of the only reasons they made her like obsessed with eating. One, obviously because, we can make jokes about it, fine. But
stupid. I hated it.
They use it then in the food poisoning subplot, because then this is why she gets sick, and she can't then become the kindergarten teacher, because the whole time they're driving, basically their motel, hotel, whatever, the night before they're supposed to start, she's like puking everywhere and blah, blah, blah.
Also, can we talk about, they're like, we got you tickets to fly to Oregon tomorrow. And you're like, okay. And I don't know how far away this freaking airport was, because then they were driving 4 days, because we stopped to puke 4 days. And I was like, okay, I'm sorry, but get her a bucket and like, let's figure this out.
And let's just also make a note, as we learned in Commando, it's very easy to murder someone on a plane. And I was concerned for the children behind Arnold.
Oh my God.
And he even snapped the pencil in half and said he would do that to the kid. And I whispered, I believe it, Arnold. But don't do it.
Don't do it,
Please
Arnold.
refrain. Also, how the fuck did he get his ferret to Oregon? You need to tell me, Bridge. I don't know why you're the expert on airplanes, but right now you are, and you need to explain something, because I think
he literally suffocated that animal in the suitcase, because when she was like vomiting in the back, and basically the ferret attacked her, and I thought, I would be screaming too. He goes, don't worry, that's just my ferret.
Like, he's so casually goes, oh, I forgot to tell you. That's my ferret. I was like, Arnold, where's the ferret been? What do you mean?
I cannot.
Well, that ferret was shoved in a lot of weird places, because the whole climax of the movie, he's literally in a child's jacket. Ooh. And I don't think it was breathing, but somehow he was. So, yeah, good times.
Hated it. But here we are, Kate. And so finally, we're like, all right, let's just get freaking Arnold in a classroom, because that's why we came to this movie, okay?
Yes.
Ay, ay, ay.
This is kind kind of where the, mixed feelings, where they meant it as humor, but in this day and age, unfortunately, it is very much a reality where he goes to bring guns to school, and she goes, don't bring those. Well, yeah.
I hate it.
It's the worst. But it's fine because, LOL, then we get to the school, and it's funny because, Arnold's, 8 feet tall, and the principal is somehow 3 feet tall.
Oh my
I don't know. Everyone's short. What? Okay.
I feel like he gets into the classroom, and, here's what Arnold is... Okay, his acting... I like his action acting, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Comedy, as we both know, Kate, he didn't really get to his peak until Jingle All the Way. Despite
True
the
story.
reviews and no one agreeing with us. In this movie, his comedy was What I did believe is he was relentlessly pursuing who is this woman, who is this woman, who is this woman.
Yeah.
And the kids were kind of in the way, and that made it... I actually thought that was funny.
Yeah.
Because he basically, verbally abused them.
He
He
did.
screamed, shut up. He told them to sit down. He whistled at them like they were dogs.
Yeah.
I mean, he turned them into soldiers. I don't know if I'd love that kindergarten teacher. Just gonna say that.
I don't think these children learned any letters.
No.
I don't think they can identify the number 4. I'm
No.
a little worried about them for first grade. And
But they got a sick Abe Lincoln beard. Am I right?
thank God we got something out of it. I do want to talk about these kids because they were so cutesy. And, you don't get to meet all of them because I'm not even kidding. I think there's 40 children in this class, which is a problem, but it's fine. But some of them have personalities. And I feel like the first one we meet is this kid named Lowell, who is obsessed with death. And Lowell would be my friend if I worked at this school. He immediately would be sent to me based on his comments. And the first thing he says when the principal's like, here's your new teacher. And then they're like, where's our other teacher? And she's like, oh, she went away. And he goes, did she die? No, lol. God.
Wasn't he also the one that Arnold's like, I have a headache? And he goes, it might be a tumor.
It's not a tumor.
It's not a tumor.
That was Lowell. Lowell was just always waiting to give his death comments.
So, was that also the kid that when they were doing the Abe Lincoln and he was like, our forefathers, and he's like, excuse me, did Abe Lincoln actually have forefathers?
No, I think that was another kid.
Oh, I was like, that's an excellent question, sir. Continue.
One of the other
God.
kids we meet that I think a lot of people remember from this movie is a little boy who goes, boys have penis, girls have a vagina.
Okay, that actor went on to do some scary movies.
Yeah, he was in New Nightmare.
Well, and wasn't he in Pet Sematary?
Oh my God, that was Gage! I forgot! He was younger than he was in this movie.
Oof.
Yeah, he got hit by a truck. Spoiler alert.
However, in this movie, he just kept repeating, boys have a penis and girls have a vagina.
And he goes, my dad's a gynecologist. He looks at vaginas all day. Which, he shouldn't really know about, but, okay.
I do like, though, that he really had a good opening line, because when he meets Phoebe, he also says, boys have a penis and girls have a vagina. I mean, at least he's consistent,
Yeah, much like Lowell, who was probably waiting for some comment where he could say, and then you die.
I love it.
We also meet, and shoot, I didn't write her name down, but she was the cute little girl who's like, I gotta go bathroom. I can't do my overalls.
Okay, she was in...
She was in Beethoven, the Beethoven movies.
Yes!
Yeah! She was the youngest kid.
Oh my God, where is this cutie pie? Where is she? What is her name?
I don't know her name.
Oh, I think was her name Emma?
Oh, yeah, that sounds like it.
Yeah, Sarah Rose Carr. She was also in Father of the Bride.
Oh,
She does the famous scene where she's like, Dad, I met a man and woman, we're getting married.
Oh, he's so cute.
And you're right, Beethoven's.
Yeah.
Oh, that's... Hey, we gotta add that one to the list. Beethoven.
Fucking love Beethoven. And the second one where they sing an emotional song for no reason. But I digress.
So you're a kid acting critic, but they did the kid acting pretty well.
Well, I actually didn't feel these kids were acting, which maybe is why they did a good job. I just felt like they, showed up one day and someone would tell them what to say and they would just kind of do it, but probably not say it verbatim. And it's cute. And that's how kid acting should be, in my opinion. At this age, 6, 7.
I just felt like they tried really hard and you're just minimizing it, Kate. Okay.
The only kid that I think had, like, some acting was Dominic. He actually had more lines.
What a cutie pie.
Oh, he's so cute. Did he end up ever doing stuff?
I'm looking at, oh my god, is that what he looks like as a, look at older Dominic.
Where? How?
The internet.
All right, I'll Google.
It doesn't look like there's any, like, super duper famous movies.
Yeah.
But, boy, he's, like, a jacked older man.
Wow. He followed Arnold's footsteps.
Well, that was a good waste of time. So, let's get back to the plot of the movie. I might have fallen asleep at this part, Kate, so take over. Where are we at now?
You fell asleep when he became the teacher, Bridget?
No. This part was great. And then it was like, he's going back, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna, like, get better at this, and he's asking about...
Who is your daddy? What does he do? What does he do? And then they do the montage. It's basically just a lot of montages. With the kids, which is cute. And he doesn't really learn much, but this is where the movie is like, we're so clever, and like, this is the single mom capital of the world. Here's a fun drinking game. Take a sip every time someone says the word divorce, because damn 90s. Like, I understand we're trying to, maybe you think you're being progressive, but like, what's happening?
Some kid had 3 dads.
Three dads. And then his mom was there, and she heard him say that. She was embarrassed.
And then there was like very brief amount of women that were like, oh, look at the new sexy kindergarten teacher. I was like, ugh, Arnold? Ugh, get out of here.
And what they should be saying is, why hasn't my kid been able to identify the letter A yet? He's almost 8. I'm worried about his education.
Oh,
he will never make it in life. Somebody help us.
Arnold's slightly distracted because the teacher across the way is Dominic's mom, who's a Hattie McHotster.
Wow.
And that is played by Penelope Ann Miller.
Yeah.
She was famous back then.
Okay.
I think she's still famous, but I don't know why her name isn't as whatever. She's just in so many movies.
She was kind of thirsty. Did you feel like that?
Okay, yes. I felt like she was thirsty.
Yeah.
I felt like she did the thing that, like, when they were technically on their first date, she shared way too much. You're like, honey, take a pause. You don't know this man, and as we know, you have a bad past. And Kate, absolute plot part I despise was Arnold eventually sharing his vulnerability with her and saying, I have a son. And you're like, what? You do, Arnold? And he's like, yes. He's 13. And my ex-wife is such a lovely person. She found a new man and they're having a wonderful life without me. And I literally decided not to see my son. So will you date me so I can have you and your son and start over? I'm like, lady, run for the hills. That's a red flag. Get out of here. Arnold's a big giant red flag.
100%. I would also argue that Arnold is a little bit of a soapy Sally, if you will.
Oh my God.
He brings up his like little sob story to literally almost every person in the movie. He brings up
so
to cop
boring.
lady as she's like puking in the back. He's like, I have a son, and she's like, what? What's happening?
All I kept thinking was like, take her to the hospital, Arnold. Get her medicine.
No, Bridge, we couldn't. We had to talk about his son and then laugh about a ferret. Yeah, he even tells the children at one point. He's like, I used to read this book to my son, and then the kids are all like, why don't you see your son, Arnold? Why don't you give us a real talk? Because we're all children of divorce over here, so we know the fucking truth. And he's like, no, it's not like that, children. And they're like, sure, Arnold. We're
They're like,
on to you.
but didn't you leave? So technically, you know what they needed? Who was the School of Rock manager that we loved?
Oh, fucking, oh my God. What was her name? It was Miranda Cosgrove, but her name was, I can't think of her name right now. She was great.
Like, we needed one of hers to be like, actually, you're like a terrible dad. And I'd be like, yes, 6-year-old.
To like raise her hand.
She's like, who's with me? They'll leave the classroom.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so lots of trying to figure out who the woman is. But then he does get it right. He's like, okay, it's definitely the teacher.
Well,
right?
But I would argue it takes him a long time, though, because we get 2 other women who you're like, oh, maybe. One is this fucking lady, who, by the way, is the bad lady in Casper. So let's just all remember The golden movie! David Sawa. All right, anyway. She's a single mom, too. And she goes to him and she's like, Arnold, I'm worried about my son because he plays with dolls. I'm so worried. And he goes... Don't worry. He uses the dolls to look up girls' skirts. And then she goes, thank God. What the
Katie, okay, there are 6-year-old children. There's a 6-year-old boy using a doll to look up girls' skirts that are 6.
He's a peeping
Katie, Tom. Help me, what's happening then? What is the psychological state?
Homophobia by the 90s adults? I don't know. It's the worst. We should be a little concerned and be teaching him socially that's not appropriate at all, ever.
Wow.
At all, ever. But he also has a classmate who talks with vaginas all day, so I'm not really sure how to justify it.
Well, because I'm like, am I gross? Because I think that's like sexual, like predatory, but like he's 6.
It's peeping. It's not good.
It ain't good.
You don't know. But so we're like, oh, maybe it's this lady. And then she's like, my husband left me for a man. And then you're like, so? Okay.
Yo, but she was the lady that shows up to the bake sale.
Oh my God.
With a pony. Can you imagine?
Oh
like,
my God. Do you
wow.
know, I feel like I could think of people in my life that I know that are gonna be that person.
We definitely know people in our lives that are that person.
I'm glad we're on the same wavelength.
If anyone listening, if you know, you know.
If you know, you know. Yes. So that's one of the like red herrings. But then the other one is with this is the fucking, I hate this subplot. This was so sad. This is where more darkness comes in with this kid named Zach, who is sad, withdrawn, literally has injuries, and children bully him. And we don't learn about him till like 3 days in or some bullshit. And then we end up finding out that his mom is not divorced, even though she is the only one that probably should be divorced. And then we find out the husband is beating the family.
Okay, Kate, this is the dark lens of this movie. Good. And then when Arnold finally, like, first of all, Arnold immediately should have fixed that situation.
Immediately should have called. You are a mandated reporter, sir.
Absolutely. But instead he's like, one more time and that's it. And then of course, one more time happens. So he beats up the guy. And then little Minnie Mouse principal is like, yeah, I've been waiting to get that guy. What? Why haven't you dealt with it, Miss Lady Principal?
And, like, Arnold, you're also a police officer. You can, like, be a police officer. Okay, fine. It's fine. You're a kindergarten cop, I guess.
He's very confused. He's like, what am I? You know, no one knows what I am. Am I a kindergarten teacher?
It's a lot
am
of
I
identity
commando?
crisis.
Am I a cop?
Yeah.
I hated that. I thought it was super sad and super dark, and it gave me 80s vibes.
And it doesn't really, like, it's nothing for the plot.
No,
you know?
nothing.
Like, he could have just been sad for some other reason. Like, kids get sad, honestly, kind of easily. Like, we could have picked anything. Like, grandma died, you know, a year ago or something.
Exactly.
But no, we went with abuse. And wow.
Or, like, my sister's sick.
Right.
Like, just something that isn't, like,
abuse.
Dangerous.
Yeah.
But here we are, Kate, and we're just trucking along. And by the way, this was Astoria, Oregon.
Yes.
Where, I mean, we gotta look up the Tinder situation there because it seems sad and mopey.
Yeah, I'm telling you, these women, I mean, and even one of the ladies is like, single parent capital of the world. And I was like, but why? I don't understand. Why is this happening?
I hate it so much.
And then even Dominic's mom at one point, she's like, well, you know, it's a small town. And Arnold's like, I don't get it. What does that mean? And I was like, I agree, Arnold. What the fuck does that matter? And she's like, small town. They have secrets. And you're like, okay, this isn't Days of Our Lives, kindergarten cop, all right? I'm just here for the Arnold jokes.
That was very Days of Our Lives.
Yeah.
And as we know about Arnold, he did not get it.
No.
Right over his big, giant, thick head.
So around the time that Arnold and the teacher that he is Dominic's mom, her name is Joyce. So around the time Arnold and Joyce are like, whatever, connecting. The bad guy, Mr. Crisp, this is around the time that he also gets out because the girl who was gonna testify ODs because the mom of Mr. Crisp, Grandma Crisp, if you will, sold something drugs, laced something, and no, cops thought it was weird and that we should do a toxicology. And guys, I don't know how many times I gotta say it, but just watch SVU maybe once, and then, I don't know, make better decisions, you know?
Dude, this villain son was so much stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, first of all, she's the one that, like, made him insane, clearly, because she's crazy. He then is like, mommy dearest to her, which is like, they do a lot of kissing, a lot of like, mommy,
Ew.
mommy, we'll fix it.
Ew.
Then we learn that when she has her pharmacy stint, that she was buying all these kids' medication, and he goes, Mom, that's what you used to do to me. You kept giving me so much medicine as a kid. There was also a zoom in to a rectal thermometer, Kate.
And a pause.
And then he goes, and I wasn't even sick, and you just kept doing this to me. And the mom goes, yeah, that's because I did it. That's why you weren't sick. And is it called
Munchausen? Yes.
Oh my God. I was
It's
like,
a very severe mental health disorder.
the layers.
And it's also abuse. So we're back to that letter A, the letter that children don't know yet because they haven't had a legitimate teacher in months or weeks. Who knows?
Well, okay. And then so you have this really intimate mother-son gross relationship.
I hate it.
And then at the end, when the son dies and the mom comes in to be like, let me try to save him, she looks over, he's absolutely dead, and she's like, huh. I'm like, where's the crying breakdown? She ran over a cop in her car to protect her son, and yet he dies, and she's like, moving on. I was like, whoa.
I did wonder if she would go up and like make out with it, and then I was like, Katie, this is not Game of Thrones. Like, just take a chill, all right? This is a 90s cop comedy, but yeah, I fucking hated her, and her hair was very big and full of secrets.
I like that. At first I was like, is this Candace Bergen, Miss Congeniality? And I was like, no. Oh my god. Oh my god,
that'd be great. Oh my god, yeah. So it's not good. So they know where she is because they were already told the info. Which, like, this again, the cop planning isn't great planning. So now we're on like a time crunch where the police say to Arnold and Phoebe, they go, she has to agree to testify, and we will only then give her immunity if she also gives us the money. So it's not just that she testifies. They're like, no, fuck that. We don't give a shit. We want that money.
Gross.
That's disgusting. And literally Phoebe goes, nice, huh? I was like, what the fuck is happening? This is like a really bad portrayal of police, and I don't think they meant it like that, but man, they did it like that.
I hated all of it.
Not good.
Yeah, and then this, Kate, as we get to this last scene, I mean, talk about, like, your word originally was triggered. Yikes. It is a lot.
So you are a newish parent, less than a year, but would you ever, if you knew that someone that you used to have a connection with or whatever the case was trying to kidnap your child and you knew they knew where you were, would you really go to school the next day?
No.
That's not where I would go at all.
No. However, she is with cops, so in theory they're saying they're like supposed to be protecting him. They do a bad job.
It's pretty bad. And this is actually very scary, and it's so sad to say, but like this term, like, oh yeah, like kindergarten cop, this gets brought up when we're talking about like school safety, because there's a lot of conversations about how sometimes when there is a alarm that goes off, the question is, well, is that someone who either wants us all to get out of the building or wants us to get out of our rooms in the hallway? And like, these are like real conversations, and it is so scary to see this happening in this movie where they're like, oh yeah, it's a real fire. All right, kids, let's do it. We practice this. And then it's like fucking terrifying, and these children are running and getting run over. Like, oh my god, I hate it.
I hated all of that. It was kind of sad. I mean, we are a mess. We're a giant mess that this is like a thing.
Yeah.
That like kids just can't like go to school. And even for people like you, I think it's worse because now you have to be Arnold fucking Schwarzenegger.
Right.
To protect children.
Well, and I also feel like, you know, I've been very fortunate that I've never had to in real time, you know, have an experience that was like an actual emergency of some kind, whatever. But like the whole part, even where it's like, oh, we got firefighters coming in and the firefighters are like fucking dicks to the police. I'm like, that makes me mad, but I could also see some stupid shit happening like that where we don't know how to really handle a crisis because we've never actually had a crisis. And all the drills you do, they're not handled like crises. Usually when you do a drill in schools, like, you are notified ahead of time. You're like, we're having a drill today. So you know, when I hear that bell, it's a drill. And that's not how it is in like real time. And it's scary. And I think the part that I got like really emotional, again, because even though I know how it goes down, is is literally when the fucking Mr. Crisp, like, grabs Dominic. Like, I was, like, upset. And then when the kids are like, stranger, and I was like, yes, children! Yes! Shun the stranger, but also save your classmate and tell an adult, and also get out of the burning building, and also don't breathe in the smoke, and, oh god.
Okay, honestly, part of cutting down this movie, that's where it needed to end. Where the kids go, stranger, danger, and then, like, one of the penis vagina kids, like, kicks him in the balls, and he falls down the stairs. We all laugh, it's Billy Madison. There's no dark ending, you know?
All the kids just dogpile Mr. Chris.
That's what I want.
That would be great, actually.
Or like the cop lady drops her noodles and he slips on it and goes down the stairs and dies, you know?
Or sex noodles? Oh god, no. I fucking hate it.
It was sad. And then when Arnold was shot, so then they have the shoot scene, and I honestly want to like find out if Dominic is okay as an adult, because that was like very traumatic acting.
Yo, he had a fucking gun held to his head. I hate that.
Multiple times. The ferret comes to save the day. I also was terrified of a ferret biting someone in the neck. I hated all of it was terrible. And Arnold gets like wheeled out, and the kids think their new teacher died.
Oh
and
my god!
I started crying, Kate.
I cried at that too.
The one kid was like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "I don't know." We're all crying. We're all 6 years old. We're all crying. This is too dark. I hated it.
That's like another bullshit thing, though, where you're like, dude, we don't practice a situation like that. Like, what do you... Because, yeah, people get fucking traumatized. Even the adults. Like, that's so scary if something like that were to happen. And if you see a colleague going to the freaking hospital, jeez.
Hospital, drama. The police officer got run over by a car. By the way, real hero there. Run over by a car, comes back to save Arnold.
Yep.
After, like, I'm sorry, when I'm run over by a car, I'm out. That's the rest of the day.
Lay down and
I'm
die.
on the pavement. Yep. I'm on the stretcher saying, hey, firefighter, come get me.
Give me that Jello.
I think just my take on all of this is like, I could have used a little more, like, even Adam Sandler type comedy. Like it got a little much, I gotta say. And it doesn't end well now that our society is a shit show with kids in schools and terror.
But I think that's the big piece too, is because like when I think of this movie, I think of the funny parts and stuff. And I know that that's what ends up happening at the end, but actually like seeing it was like, I did have a different reaction this time than other times. And that's our world now. It's terrible.
Yes. So listeners, I hope that was an uplifting take.
Well, let's also just make sure, so in case you're all crying and worried about Arnold's okay. Whee! He just has a broken leg, and then he walks with a cane, and then I think he gets adopted as the real teacher, ? He doesn't have a certificate or a degree. There he goes. So that's the ending. And then he makes out with Dominic's mom in front of children, and then she leaves her children alone while he makes out.
And he like dips her like they're in a wedding.
It's a lot.
Videographer scene. I
cannot. I don't know about it. And I said, Dominic, is this weird for you? It's weird for me.
I like Arnold when you either already have had a love interest, Jingle All the Way, or you're a commando and you have none.
Yeah.
But Arnold wooing, he was asked to do too many things in this movie. Comedy, love, action, too much. Give Arnold a break.
Ferret wrangling, too much.
Ferret owner,
too much.
Inappropriate coworker relationships, so many things.
Yeah. Which, by the way, the ferrets Bridget shared, they were named Matt, Slick, and Snoopy. That's so cute. I love that.
Oh my god,
we need more ferrets and things. Well, Bridge, what do you think? Would you watch or don't watch?
Ooh, I feel like I've been a little bit of a grump these days, but I kind of wouldn't watch.
I'm gonna watch it again.
I think it's a YouTube clip. I think it's like funny. You search
like the quotes and stuff.
Funny kindergarten cop scenes, but I don't think you watch the movie. It's too dark. It's just like you want more lightheartedness.
Yeah, and honestly, like once you get to it's really like the Abe Lincoln thingy that the kids do. I feel like that's like the last time where it's like, haha, funny.
Yeah.
And then all after that, it's fucked up. So you can just turn it off at Abe Lincoln and pretend
There you go.
that's how
That's
we
what you
end.
should- absolutely. Turn it
Yeah.
off at Abe Lincoln.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
But we did it, Kate, and
Woo!
it's my turn.
Woo!
And we have a listener pick.
Hey. Woo!
Listener pick.
Ow.
I was so excited to see this. We have done a movie with this actor.
Okay.
And this is 1 year prior, 1989.
Oh, back to the 80s.
Family comedy. So we're gonna try to do more comedy.
Okay, well, I don't know, Bridget. 80s is kind of dark.
80s
but okay.
is dark, but I
Okay.
do think this is I'm Sisters of the Traveling Pant, whatever.
What?
All of Sisterhood of the Traveling Pant. All these movies we keep watching, and I'm like, I can't wait to laugh, and then I'm like, whoa,
And you're
trauma.
like, now I'm sad, yeah.
I hope this movie proves me right and that it was funny and it will stay funny.
Okay.
It is described as a comic science fiction film.
Oh, that's probably something I enjoy. 89?
89.
Okay.
Now, when I give you the plot, you're going to know what it is. So I'm
Ah.
just going to give it to you. A
Okay.
struggling inventor accidentally shrinks his kids.
Oh! Honey, I Shrunk the Kids?
Yes, and this was picked from, did I say already?
No.
Thomas.
Thomas! Oh.
Thomas, I cannot with this pick because boy oh boy did this come all the way in the very, very back of my memory bank.
Wait.
Being like, wow.
Ooh, did we do a movie on already? Not Rick Moranis? Was it
Rick Moranis' Little Giants! Get
Little
out of
Giants!
town!
Ah, how can
Danny
I
O'Shea
forget? Oh my
Chevrolet!
god, Giants, help us, God. Oh my god. Wait, okay, so go in your memory banks. Do you remember when we went to Disney? And they had, at the time, a literal, like, Honey, I Shrunk the Kid, like, section where there were giant plastic plants and you were, like, the shrunken people and you could, like, climb on a leaf and it was a slide and some stupid shit. You don't remember that? Oh my god.
No, I don't, but that sounds so cool.
That used to be a thing. I don't think it's there anymore. And then there was a 3D, like, ride thing that was Honey, I Shrunk the Kids with, like, the mice and the bugs. You don't remember that? I was 6.
Wow, you were in kindergarten.
I was actually living through kindergarten cop, but in Disney. And
I don't remember it at all. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
But I feel like there are so many scenes in this film where I'm thinking of those giant things, and that sounds so cool because I feel like Disney could do that really well.
Yeah, it was really cool. They did not have a giant, like, scorpion, and I am not sure why anyone has a scorpion in their backyard in suburbia, but fine.
But here we are.
Wow. Well, Bridge,
Yeah.
I just want to say, oh God, so many things to say. If you were enjoying some time with your husband, and we, for some reason, were sharing a room on the job, and I walked in but didn't see anything because that's gross, and you were like, we're just, like, having a time, and you had pasta, I would give you some Parmesan cheese. I actually thought I would end that something much more sensible, and I didn't at all. And that's all. That's what you get. That's what I do. Love you.
You know what? No, that's called love.
Yeah.
That is called love. Kate,
Bridge.
if you somehow decided to be a cop and then had to be undercover,
Oh.
and you were all ready to go to Oregon and set up for your kindergarten teaching as undercover, and you were just about to have the airport sushi, I would smack that out of your hand so you wouldn't get food poisoning.
Wow. Thanks, Bridge.
You're welcome. It would have been a lot of throwing up. Trust me.
Oh, I hate that.
But here we are.
Wow, and listeners, if you also hate throwing up, and, secret ferrets in questionable pockets, and if you think that Arnold was actually a terrible teacher and you don't understand why everyone was praising him for just blowing a whistle at kids and
Yep. Yep.
I don't know, he played the ukulele once, but I don't think that makes up for not learning. You should write us a review.
Hey!
We love reviews. We love written reviews. You can review us on Apple Podcasts, along with some other podcasting apps. We also have a website, sisterswhoseenit.com. On our website, you can go on and request a movie. There's a form you can fill out. So our next movie, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, was recommended by Thomas. And Thomas went on the website, filled out the form, and here we are. Now we're doing it for you, Thomas. And that could be you, listeners. If you're like, guys, Arnold was not a good teacher, but he was a great, something else. Probably cop. That's what he is in most movies. Watch this one. We'll be like, yeah, maybe. But we'll do it eventually.
Of course.
And Bridge, what else can they do on our website?
They can buy us coffee.
Woo!
This is essentially just giving us money that we will buy coffee with or other things. And if you're saying, I want to not do that, but I want some of that really cool merchandise you talked about earlier.
Oh, yeah.
You can do that too.
Yeah.
All the cool inside jokes and scoop and everything that you've been listening, we are putting that on product.
Woo!
And you could buy it and you could wear it. And when people are like, where's that from? You could say, you don't get it. And then you walk away from them, just like you're Arnold. No, I'm kidding.
Or you could explain what the podcast is and share.
Or promote our podcast.
Okay.
Check it out. We hope you like it. And honestly, we keep getting movie requests, but I would totally be open to merchandise requests too, either via email or social media. And yeah, there we go, Kate.
All right. So check all that out, and we hope to hear from you. All right, listeners. Well, we'll see y'all next week for Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. And I don't know, I can't think of any lines, but they probably say we shrunk the kids at some point.
It's Rick Moranis with a woman who's way too hot for him, and
Always.
They shrunk the kid.
Yep, fucking shrunk the kid. That's the shit. And then the lawnmower's gonna run him over, and then he's gonna eat him in a cereal. It's
God.
trauma.
Maybe it is trauma.
It
well,
is.
here you go. All right. Whee! See you next week. Love you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Love you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Sisters Who Seen It. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Check out our website at sisterswhoseenit.com, where you can email us, request movies to be reviewed, and keep up to date with all things sisters. Also, make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. See you next week.